So, several years back, um, maybe halfway into being married with my wife, more or less, me and my wife been married for about 16 years or so, and and halfway, you want to go inside, buddy? At some point, the father started like dropping new revelation, and we started gaining new convictions, and and both me and my wife, little by little, started coming to the realization and conclusion that we were gonna stop um, we were gonna stop celebrating any government recognized holiday. Okay, your Christmas, uh, you know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, um, all kinds of numbers. It doesn't mean that we were no didn't mean it didn't mean that we're going to be religious about it in the sense of like, oh, we're going to make this a set doctrine that we have to live by now and be rigid. No, I'll still show up to a friend's Christmas party, you know, or Halloween, one of them. I'll still show up to, you know, I'm going to get into the pagan origin of most, if not all, of these government recognized uh, and encouraged holidays. But I would we would go with the kids and do the block trick or treat, and whatever. Kids are protected by their innocence for the most part. Children don't comprehend. Uh, you know, it's got to be blatantly evil for a kid to have uh, an fearful impact in their psyche when it comes to things, because the spirit of the father protects the children. I believe in that sense for the most part, right? So we did, and after a while, we no longer partook in anything related with Halloween being one of the worst ones in origin. Christmas not being too far off once you get into a little bit of um, there's a lot of information out there. You get a little bit of knowledge of of Krampus and all the Christmas pagan, the tree, all the Christmas pagan attachments, right, and origins. Um, but we decided that we were going to we were going to stop um, burden burden ourselves with being slaves to I don't know how many freaking holidays that this country, the United States, has. So we made that decision, and we had some biblical foundations upon it. Uh, so it wasn't just like a random thing, but the Father, little by little, as He put that in my heart, in our hearts, and the Father, little by little, started showing me the reasons why, the details why He was pushing me towards canceling um, my interactions or my involvement with these holidays, and it's two reasons. And one of them is because, again, you do a little research, and you go back. There's a decent amount of information out there, and you go back in history, and you can see the pagan connections to every ritualistic holiday that we have once a year um, in the United States, and that being one of them. The fact that I don't, uh, after we have the knowledge of Yah, of the Creator, of God, and we know who we serve, we try to stay away from. It's not a religious thing. It's a spiritual awareness thing. The Spirit of the Father allows us to comprehend that there are forces in the spiritual realm that are not here for our benefit. And my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's what the word says. And the knowledge is not knowing who you are through Christ. The knowledge is not knowing who you are in spirit, not knowing who you are created to be. That's the knowledge that we lack. We are born blind into this world, right? So we don't have, there's knowledge that we don't have when we're opening doors in the spiritual realm. Anything we do, we're constantly, we're spiritual beings as much as we are physical beings. We're constantly interacting, whether you perceive it or not. You're constantly interacting with the spiritual realm at all times. Every door you open and every door you close. Hypothetical doors in the sense of, in the spiritual realm, like, we open doors and we close doors, right? And in the beginning of the knowledge of Christ, in the beginning of the knowledge of your Creator, of Yah, of you being one with God, uh, you don't start opening doors as much as you start closing doors. And this is all led by the Spirit of the Father. You start closing doors because, again, we're born blind into this world, and there's things that have been harming us for decades, since childhood, that we were born into as traditions, that we have no idea, no clue of the doors that have been opened to come and take dominion in areas of our lives, negative forces that we have opened the door to without knowledge, to come and have dominion over certain areas of our lives for not for our good, right? So you you know you start closing a lot of doors, and that was part of the process, uh, mostly in my marriage, because before I had never, the Spirit of the Father had never revealed this to me until I got married. After a while, after being married, and I accepted Christ before years before I got married, and in my late teens, early 20s. So he starts to reveal things to you like that. So the pagan reason, because of the doors that we open in the spiritual realm that are not for a favor. That's one. The other one is, and they're both spiritual. The other reason is back to the kingdom of heaven versus the kingdoms of men. The, these holidays, they have been uh, implanted in our culture as Americans or whatnot, and not just Americans, like the UK and other parts of the world. They have their own, but they have been implanted, and I believe guided by the devil himself to deviate you from knowing how to store riches in heaven. Let me explain. I don't need Mother's Day. I don't need Father's Day to be able to show my mother or my father. Okay, hypothetically, because I don't. My father's already passed away, and I have no idea what my mother is. But we do not need We do not need a holiday to tell us, oh, it's time for you to recognize and be nice to this person. We don't need that. We don't need an external source. It becomes a repetitive, we don't need Valentine's Day to tell us that we love our spouse and that we should do something for them. You understand? So it goes back. It makes you accountable and makes you involved. This is what the kingdom of heaven is about. Storing your kingdom, storing your riches in heaven. This is what it's about. Anytime that I feel, oh man, my wife, you know what? My wife has been having a hard time uh, because of the situation with the economy and current administration or whatever, and her job is taking some hits, and she's a little stressed out or whatever. She's, I love my wife very much. Let me try to ease her burden a bit. Let me try to do what I can to show her that she's appreciated. Let me try to, you know, to show her that I care, that her efforts are not going unnoticed, you know. And we do celebrate birthdays. Our sons' birthdays, both of them, and and our own birthdays here and there. Not too crazy about it, but again, it's not about being religious, but it's about the essence of the. It's about the principle. It's about the principle, and allowing that principle to correct um, your foundation on what's truly important. What's truly important is not that you remember every holiday that the United States has. That's not what's important. Anybody can do that and brush it off. No, I'm gonna put effort. I'm gonna give my time. I'm gonna put my effort forward to show an individual. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is, to show an individual, whether it be my sibling or my parent or my spouse or whatever, or my children. Anytime my son does something nice in school, I try to I tell my wife all the time, no, we have to. I want to go and do something that I know that makes him feel happy. I want to get him. Sometimes it's maybe getting him something that he likes from he likes to collect cards and whatever, and likes anime and Marvel stuff, and both of my sons, they love video games and stuff, and I tell my wife all the time, anytime they do something that's worthy of recognition, show them that you care about their efforts, So that's what I mean. The two reasons is because we're closing doors of the things that we had no knowledge of, that now we do, through the conviction of the Holy Spirit. Everything is through a conviction of the Spirit of the Creator. Okay. Not because a man told you and you're following a herd of people that are doing ritualistic things. Not because of that, because anything can become an idol. Anything that is not guided, beautiful bird, anything that is not guided by the Spirit of the Creator can become an idol, or potentially an idol. I get distracted easily. I love the birds. So those are the two reasons. So it's not to be religious. Again, if a friend or a family member were to invite me and have invited me and my family, everyone in my family, my immediate family, which is my wife and my two sons, understand, hey, we don't partake in the paganism of these ritualistic holidays that have been government ordained in a way, covertly ordained or whatever. So We understand that, but we can go and hang out with them, because we have to. Christ met the people where they were at, both physically and spiritually, right? Christ met. God meets people where they're at. If he didn't, he would not have sent his son to die for us. So we have to learn how to be. That's part of being merciful. That's part of being. That's part of working in the kingdom of heaven. It's showing them love in the level of understanding where they are at. You know. So, but if you have been convicted, now in your heart the Father judges our hearts. So now the Father knows your heart. He knows that you are not caught up in the lies. The Father knows your heart, and you don't have to convince anybody else. Just your very presence and the way you carry yourself is a testimony to those around you. You don't have to beat anybody over the head with a stick or with a Bible in order to get them to see. They will notice bit by bit at their own pace, at the pace where the Spirit can show them and they can receive. Because only the Spirit can touch the hearts. Only the Spirit of the Father can touch the hearts of men effectively. You know, no matter the instrument or the avenue, the angle, as long as the Spirit of the Father is involved, it is effective in touching the hearts of men. A man cannot have that effect on his own. A man that is without the Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Creator, Spirit of Yah, will not have that impact on the life of another man or another sinner if he does not have the Spirit of the living Creator working through him. At that point, uh, he becomes a stumbling block rather than a stepping stone or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to share that. I don't partake. I don't partake something that the Spirit of the Father showed me, something that brought a lot of, it brought weight. Okay. The reason why I share this is because it brought weight. Once you make peace with this understanding and you continue to ask the Father, but because there might be some resistance. It could be some resistance there. Okay. And I'm not telling you have to do this. I'm not telling you, and I won't, and I don't judge those. I don't condemn, I should say. I do righteously judge situations and people's behavior. I don't condemn them for it. That's not my job. So I don't condemn folks, but I as a testimony, I will share the reasons why and why I did that, why me and my family decided to do that, and it's because the Father was trying to liberate us continually. Continually, the Father continues to liberate us from wrongful indoctrination, from dogmas, pagan rooted ritualistic behavior that we have learned from childhood. Constantly, the Father's trying to break us loose from that, and 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 my wife is also a witness. She could tell you herself. We felt the weight fall off of our shoulders when we finally said, "Okay, we're not doing this anymore." Anytime my son needs a pair of shoes, like I see, like, because I'm big on shoes, because when I was a kid, psychologically, it was a big deal for me. I didn't have good shoes when I was young, uh, and that was it was or decent clothes for that matter. So so anytime I see my son, it's like he's kind of lacking. It's like, hey, do you need another pair of sweat? Because he likes to wear sweatpants. You need another pair of sweatpants? How are the shoes fitting you? Look, come on, let's go get you some shoes. You know, anytime I feel that and not just meeting the need, but the recognition. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't mind spending a little extra, Like he wanted to set a, and my son's pretty humble in that aspect. You don't both either one of them. They're not like flashy. They want all the latest Jordan sneakers, and they're not like that in the slightest. My son, my youngest, came and he had been doing great. He's always does great. He's very smart. He does great in school, and his old headphones broke, and he wears his headphones. They allow him to, as long as you're doing your work and stuff, they allow you to listen to music and or podcasts or whatever in his school. So his old headphones broke. They were really cheap, like Chinese generic. They they were they, they were they lasted a decent amount because he took care of them a good bit. But I wanted to get him something of a little more quality. Something that sounded better, something that was going to hold a little bit longer battery life, something that was going to be better for him. And he was like, "Oh no!" And I was like, "Well, I'm going to get you the ones that I got. You know, the ones that I got when that I would use for work." And we went and we did that. He's always super grateful. He needs shoes. I make sure that he gets the shoes that he wants to get. That he gets. And again, it's not flashy. Like he's wearing Converse. And like old school 1980s Converse. Not even the new ones. Like and and that's awesome. And he's like super humble about it, right? But it brings me joy. It brings I get more of a fulfillment again. Storing riches in heaven. This is I'm trying to show you guys what it means. I get more of a fulfillment of rewarding him, of showing him that he's appreciated, of showing him that he's a person that he is loved, that he is cared for. You know, my wife, my other son. I get more of a fulfillment from meeting one of their needs, or just for the sake of recognition, showing them or giving them something that they want or whatever. I get more of a fulfillment from that than I would following the ritualistic calendar date of the mandated pagan holidays, you know, of this country, right? So just wanted to put that out there. Um, so it may be that you haven't came to this point in your relationship with the Father, with the Creator, and that's all right. It could very well it could very well be that you are not quite there uh, when it comes to that. When it comes to closing those doors that you that you should be closing for the sake of spiritual uh, foundation, right? And that's fine. I can't condemn. I can't judge you for that, because I know everything that I know has been revealed to me by the Holy Spirit, and everything has its time. The Father has his time where he reveals certain things to you, and I understand that because I have experienced it. So all I'm doing here is sharing where I'm at in my spiritual journey, in my spiritual growth. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sharing. I'm giving you a window ahead of what this is like, right? So, or it could be very well that indeed you have been getting the convictions of the Spirit of the Father, uh, and you might be married, uh, or and have a spouse, or just simply just your family, your parents, and you're already an adult, and it's your parents, and siblings and people that you hold dear, you love and you care about very much, and they're not there, but you're starting to get revelation from the Spirit of the Father upon these realities, and you may be hesitant. You may be hesitant. Maybe you're scared to fully immerse yourself into this found knowledge that the Spirit gives to you because of what they may think of you, right? And if that is the case, I'm just gonna remind you that we can't put anything before our Creator. If you are a believer, this is for strictly for believers, strictly for born again. Uh, Christ sacrifice acceptance uh, recipients. If that is the case, I want to remind you that we can't place anything in front of our Creator. As much as I love my family, I can't put them before Yah, before my Father in heaven. I can't do it. And Yah forbid I did, because I know better, and the level of revelation that has been given to me, I know better. And it would be foolish for me to go back to the old way of understanding. Doesn't mean that you don't love. It doesn't mean you don't love your family. It's just, it puts things in order. It puts things in order. Our hearts need to rest in the hands of the omnipotent, of the Most High, of our Creator, our Father, our Heavenly Father. Our hearts, first and foremost, beyond anything, before anything, needs to rest in the hands of our Heavenly Father, because He holds all truth. And we are born blind into a world of lies. So therefore, it doesn't matter how good we think we may be without God. The fact of the matter is that we're still born blind. We still don't know how to do it correctly. And we need the Creator of all to show us. And that is the primary reason why we must put everything in order. And the number one is Yah in our hearts directly in line, in tune with Yah. And then from there, we can receive the correctness in order to love everyone else and love ourselves. We can't even love ourselves until we learn the love from Yah, by Yah, through Yah. Okay? And the beginning of that is just us humbling ourselves and accepting, surrendering our understanding, and surrendering everything that we have been taught, and allowing the Spirit of the Father to come and make the necessary corrections through convictions that only happen through the Holy Spirit. Okay? And the reason why why we find it difficult to advance in our walk, and sometimes we find ourselves stagnant in certain areas of our lives, is because there's probably been, the Spirit has been working with you and has been giving you bit by bit convictions, and our flesh, man, our Adamic nature, our carnality resists so much. And I know this. We resist so much the true convictions of the Holy Spirit, which happen internally. We resist. so much because we want to hold on to what is familiar. We want to hold on to what we know, what it comes easy to us, you know, especially as we get a little older. Uh, as you guys have heard me say, that is where the parable of the rich young ruler. The rich young ruler doesn't have to be young, you know. The older you get, if you don't heed to the convictions of the Spirit of the Father, the older you get, the more riches and indoctrinations of this world, more riches of this world become a foundation in you, and the harder it is for you to let go and immerse yourself with the kingdom of heaven. So that's why sometimes we find difficulty. So always do some self-analysis, self-analyze yourself, self-analyze yourself, and and always take everything in prayer to your Creator. Go to your quiet place, your private place with your Father, and put your heart on the table at His feet, you know, and say, "Hey, Father, show me this. Show me why this is happening. I don't know. I'm here." Because He wants the dialect, like I've been saying, mercy over sacrifice. He wants more. He wants more. I have to stay here because I got a whole lot of more of something else. Everything's connected, but He wants more. He rather more have a relationship with you than you just follow rituals based upon your logic or in and interpretation of what you think His word wants you to do. And by His word, I'm not even talking about the living word that comes revealed by the Spirit of the Most High. I'm talking about the letters that you read on a page, on a physicality, on a physical interaction, on a physical action. There's a difference between you reading letters, reading words on a page, on a paper page, and you receiving the living word directly from the source. There's a difference. And that's what He wants you to do. That's what He wants from all of us. He rather us seek a relationship with Him in prayer with a humble heart on a daily basis or whenever, then you become a ritualistic, um, religious, uh, like doctrine practicer. You know, I and I'm not trying to offend anybody. Okay, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm trying to paint you a picture. You know, I'm just showing you what the Father has shown me. I I far, far, far value my personal time. I have learned the hard way through trials and tribulations. It's like, why is this like you're not spending enough time with the Father? Oh, but He knows that. It's like you're not spending enough time with the Father. Oh, but He already knows what's going on, and He knows everything, and He we're created in His image. We yearn for interaction, right? We yearn for interaction from we're like, you have your best buds or friends that you guys, you share things in common together, and you guys have a great time, and you feel like you can tell your bro anything, and like, and you're happy and you feel comfortable, right, sharing, and you yearn from that for that interaction, to the point where when your friend is no longer there, you miss that because you're, oh man, and you learn the value. You quickly learn the value of that interaction, because it's not easily found in just anybody else, because there's a history there, there's a bond there, not to say that you can't make bonds and make uh, 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 you know make history with someone else, but You understand what I'm saying? So if we are created in the image and spirit and truth, we're created in the image of the Creator, which is a spiritual being, and we yearn uh, for that interaction. That means that the Creator also yearns. Yes, He knows everything. Yes, He knows the past, present, and future. He's omnipotent. He's in every molecule and every single hairline, thousands of a hairline of space, you name it. Like, He's incredible, literally incredible. Like, we cannot believe, we can't understand, we can't comprehend the greatness of our Creator. But isn't it awesome that as great as the Father is, He still wants you to talk to Him? You see what I'm saying? He values the time you spend with Him more than He values a ritualistic sacrifice. And I'm going to leave it there. Bless you guys. I hope you guys have a great time, great rest of your day. Um, I I'm only here to speak the truth as I learn it in my heart, revealed to me by the Spirit of the Creator. Uh, I'm not perfect, and forgive me if I make a couple mistakes here and there. Um, I get blank spots, in my thought process from time to time. I knew it was John, I knew it was John in the island of Patmos, but I can't explain to you how this thing works. It's just, trust me, if it wasn't for Yah, if it wasn't for Yah. So I'm not perfect, but I am. I serve the one who is, and I only try. I'm not asking you for money. I don't. I don't want your money. I'm not asking you for anything. I'm only. I implore you to have a deeper, more meaningful relationship with your Creator. That's that's it. That's that's the only thing. That's all this is. I don't need you to post comments for the argo rhythm. I'm not asking you for anything because I trust in my Creator, and I'm not. I don't. It's not by power or by might. Whenever the Father and the Spirit of the Father thinks that these videos need to go somewhere to the masses, it will happen. I'm not worried. I'm not concerned about that. My only concern is to seek the kingdom of heaven first. And part of that is me being obedient, and I heed the voice of the Spirit telling me, I want you to speak, because I know that He has dropped a lot of gems within me. As burned out as that may be, He has dropped so many gems. They come in and out all day long, constantly. Constantly they come in and out. I can't my being cannot contain the amount of information, the amount of spiritual riches that He downloads in me left and right. And they come and I get it and they go. And I'm like, oh man, oh, what was that thing? I want to share this with the world. And I've also learned that not everything is for everyone all the time. A lot of it is just for me for that moment in time. And then down the line, like I'm sharing things that I'm sharing here now are things that I've already been revealed to me and I've already put in practice, so I speak on that authority. I'm not telling you something I just learned that I haven't done yet. I'm telling you something that the Spirit convicted me of, and I put into practice and became a reality in my life. And I reap the results of them. I'm not telling you anything else. I'm not pretending to be. I am what I am. So be all you could be. be be who you are. Come as you are to your Creator, and allow the Spirit to do the work inside of you. You gotta open the door to the Spirit of the Father and close the doors that He tells you to close, whether it makes sense to you or not. Deep down inside, you're gonna know. Deep down inside, we know when it's the Spirit of the Creator convicting us, whether our flesh likes it or not. We know, and then we have the choice. And I know you know what I mean. We have the choice to listen to the voice of the Spirit and obey it, or just prolong it a little bit longer, because it throws a monkey wrench in the logic and logistics of your physicality, of the way that you're currently living your life. Okay, so bless you guys. I'm done. Hope you have a great day, and catch you on the next one.